What's up, Steno babes? It's your boy, Jack.
And your girl, Des.
We are two court reporters
With one podcast,
ready to tell you all of our stories.
we're taking you through the court reporting profession through our eyes.
So get ready because we're about to go on the record.
Do you solemnly state that the testimony you are about to give shall be the truth?
I do.
Then let's go.
This is the Steno Pod. What's up, Steno babes? It's your boy, Jack.
And your girl, Des.
Oh, here we go.
How
We're
to
doing
say
the intro. They just heard the intro. Now we're doing it all over again live. I love it. We
The
are
last
back
one.
for the season finale of the Steno Pod. I
Oh
can't
my
believe
gosh.
it. We made it. We made it to the finish line.
I know. Can you believe it? Like when we first started, we were like, oh my goodness, like it's happening. And now look at us. We're almost done. Well, at least with this
Mhm.
season.
I feel like we've learned a lot too. It was a learning curve. We've never done anything like this. So it's been really fun. And I feel like if and when we do a season 2, it'll just elevate even more and it'll be really good. But I feel like we had a lot of good guests on this season, and I'm excited to get more on the next season and get everyone's input of what they like hearing most and everything. So how
What was the
fun.
one thing that you learned for this podcast, doing all this? What was the one thing? I know I'm putting you on the spot. We didn't really discuss this, but I was just thinking about that. We've learned so much about different reporters and how they do things. And even though there was some things where I was like, I don't agree with that, it was really nice to see that there was people that do things differently than I did. And I'm just learning about the field in a different perspective. So
Yeah,
what about
totally.
you? What about for you?
I feel like each guest we had, I learned something different. I loved getting Whitney's perspective, being a steno celebrity on TV and the pressure that comes along with that. I loved all the input and information Christine brought to the podcast with, doing high profile trials and, how to read back in those high tense scenarios. And I also loved having Molly on and
Molly.
listening to all the amazing feedback and information she had and just talking to her because she's such a fun person to listen to speak. But everyone, all of our guests were so amazing. Allegra, the attorney, that was such a cool perspective. I feel like we touched on a little bit of everything. So I'm excited to find the challenge and finding new people and other people to bring on. But I feel like for season 1, we really touched on every corner we possibly could in the court reporting world. We just need to get a voice reporter on next season because everyone wants to hear that feedback too.
Yeah, we're thinking a voice reporter and a judge. I do have a judge that said yes, but he just got really busy. I was going to bring him on this season, but he just got really busy with, his work. So I do want to bring him on next season, and I think that'll be great. And like I said, we've learned so much about ourselves too. And I think that we've become better reporters in the end too. Just learning off of each other. So, But everybody wants a Q&A, so let's give them a Q&A, Jack. By the way, I did not expect that many questions. Just want to put this out there. We're going to try to get through as many questions as we can. You guys asked a ton. Last time we had a Q&A, there was 10 questions asked, and it was perfect. But now there was over, I think, 35.
Wow, that's so good. Thank you all so much for participating and sending your questions in. Yes, we thought it'd be a great way to wrap up the season and just give you guys the floor, and we can open it up and you can ask us whatever you want about us or court reporting or anything, all the above. So yeah, let's get started. Do you want to ask the first one?
Okay, I'll start it off here. Okay. So this one is by Perfectly Brittany 007. And the question is, what do students worry about that in the long run really won't matter? Ooh, that's a really good question. That's a really, really good one.
That is a good question.
I'll say it. It's not that it doesn't matter, but I think that the pressure from readback is the reason why a lot of people stumble on readback. You're nervous, your nerves and everything, and it's really not that bad. I think that when you read back, as long as you read back confidently and you just do it, it's not bad. And yes, there are times, I think that this happened to me once. I don't know if it happened to you, Jack, where an attorney was like, no, I didn't say that.
Oh, absolutely.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. I think that the pressure of I think that that's what everyone's so focused on. I don't know if you've seen on the Facebook's pages or anywhere. Everyone's like, read back. I'm like, guys, I promise you, it's not as big of a deal as it's being made.
Totally. Even if you have the worst possible experience, and it will happen. We've all been there where it's the attorney's like, that's actually not what I said. And I'm like, okay, like as bad as it feels or seems, at the end of the day, it's like, do you know this attorney personally? Do you have to see them in your life all the time?
Mhm.
Are who cares? You had one little flub up. We're all human. We all make mistakes. Anyone that's understanding is going to be, okay with it and understand it. But at the end of the day, you can't go into the job being like, I'm so nervous for readback. I'm so nervous for readback, because then you're just going to write sloppy and be so nervous the
Right.
whole time.
Right.
So I try to never, ever, ever think about it. I try to never think about that unless you can sometimes sense when it's going to come.
Mhm.
A lot of time when there's an objection, it's like, okay, I'm going to make sure I'm getting down the question before I even get an objection if it's going really fast like that. Because a lot of times it comes after an objection where it's like, well, I don't even know what the question was anymore. Can you repeat it?
Right.
So I think, yeah, for sure. I think that's great advice to just not stress about it
Mhm.
and handle it step by step, minute by minute. You're going to be fine. Go read what you got. If you can't read that, read your notes. 9 times out of 10, you're going to be able to get something out.
Yeah, and that's why reading your notes is so important. And like Jack said, 8 times out of 10, the readback comes after the objection. And that's why when the attorney starts to object, if I don't have the full question, I'll say, hold on, counsel, give me 1 second. Can you do the ending of the question or can you repeat? And I'll kind of read a little bit of what I have. And then they'll finish the question. And then I'm like, okay, counsel, your objection. And then they'll say objection, da 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 da. And then the witness obviously forgot the question. And I'll read it back. And that way I at least have it. The objections can always wait. Just always think of it that way.
Yeah,
So
totally.
I would say
I
that way.
agree.
What about, do you agree with that? I don't know if you had another answer,
Yeah, I
but
totally agree with that. I'm trying to think about stuff that doesn't, I mean, I think everything matters in a
mhm,
sense,
it
but
does.
I don't think stressing about anything is the answer. A lot of it's
Yes.
just be open to learning. This whole career is you're going to walk into settings, places, people that are new, fresh. You don't know what's going on. You don't understand what's going on. And you have to just learn. Being honest about that. I mean, I know no one likes to be like, I'm a new reporter. I never wanted to say that. But being honest with like, oh, I'm not sure about that. I'll have to check with my agency or let me ask about that. I don't know. I've never had that come up yet. Just being honest about your experience and what's going on, like I feel like that resonates a lot with people. So yeah, I just think don't stress. Take everything as it comes. Be a sponge. Absorb everything,
Right.
and you'll be fine.
I agree with that.
Let's
So,
go to the next one.
yes.
Let's see. This is from Ariana. What do you do to prepare for a job, or how do you get in the zone?
Oh, that's a good question too. I like that
I play
one.
In the Zone by Britney Spears. No, I'm just kidding.
I love Britney Spears so much. I don't know. You answer that first.
For a job, I definitely get there early.
Mhm.
I set myself up to be successful in that way, because if I am late at all, I find that my brain gets so cluttered and so stressed. So I am always at least 30 minutes, usually a little more early to a job. And sometimes I'm just waiting outside a courtroom. Like sometimes I'm not even in the courtroom or anything. I like to get there early. I'll go look at the list of cases happening. I'll find mine. And as soon as I can get in there into the courtroom, and, I ask the clerks politely if I can set up. And from there, I like to just plug in little things into my dictionary, depending on how much time I have. I usually have a decent amount of time, maybe 10, 15 minutes of sitting there while they check everyone in. So I'm sometimes searching my case, I'm adding different briefs into my job dictionary, and I'm also trying to like piece together who is the attorney by usually Googling them and finding a picture of them so I can find out who it is. So I'm just trying to set myself up for all of the things that would be questions where I'm like, who's that? Who's speaking? What are they saying? What is this? I try to like prepare as much as I can with just that. When I was a newer reporter, especially for depots and stuff, I would prepare probably like a day in advance, or I'd wake up super early with hearings because they're so quick and stuff. I'm usually able to just kind of like preload stuff pretty quickly. So, um, but yeah, other than that, once it's like time to go, it's like, let's go, let's start, let's get on the record. And I channel my inner Beyonce and off I go.
Everybody loves that you said that. I can't even tell you how many students love the inner Beyonce. I'm gonna
I
channel my
know.
Beyonce. That's like a trademark for you. Look at
You
that.
have to do it. You have to.
That's a good one, Jack. I would say the same thing, but I also warm up my fingers before it's kind of hard to with sometimes, but like I'll warm them up. I'll be like A, B, C, D, E,
Mm,
F, G, H,
hmm
and I'll do the number bar. I know you don't use the number bar, but I'll do the number bar or just kind of like to get my fingers moving. But like Jack said, getting there so early is so key. There are reporters that get to jobs like 15 minutes prior, and I will never agree with that because you're in a
Mm-mm.
hurry at that point. You're such in a hurry. And what happens when you're in a hurry? Your like blood pressure's up, your adrenaline's up, all that. And then once you're done setting up, they're like everyone's staring at you, ready to go. And then you're like, okay, you have to find a way to bring yourself down to concentrate. I have a hard time doing that. I cannot. I don't know how they do it. More power to you if you're one of those reporters. No, I'm not hating, but I personally can't. So getting there early after everything's set up, you can just go like in the lobby or something. Sometimes I'll play like meditation music, and that really kind of brings me down because traffic and all that gets me pissed off. So sometimes I'll get to jobs and I'm like, oh my God, all that was just too much. So I would say doing that, meditation music and all that stuff, that helps too.
I love that. I used to do that too before depots. I would write numbers 1 to 100
Oh, that's
to warm
smart.
up my fingers. But I mean, our numbers are phonetic, so I'm literally writing,
I
1, 2, 3.
know, I know. I think of you when like the other day a number came up and it was like 1,459,606 dollars, and I was like, "What? There's no way I can write."
It's not fun. I can
It's
always do it
not.
once. Like the
Mhm.
one time I was like, yes. And then all of a sudden they'll be like, so going back to the 6 million figure. And I'm just like, no, I got that once. You're not getting it again. Like there's no way.
Or like they say it differently too. They'll be like 1 million, da, 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 and then they'll say like
Yes.
point
And
four
so,
million, and you're like,
yeah,
stop, say it right, like say it consistent.
right. The 1.4 million and change or whatever. I'm like, oh my God, really? Like I hate
Did
when
you
they do
have to
that.
say that? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Crazy.
next question is from Kimstagram 208. She says, if you weren't a stenographer, what would you be doing? We all know
That's
what
such
Jax
a
would
good
be.
question. Well, okay. So I kind of have two answers to this.
I want to hear it.
I like obviously I would love to be a performer, but I feel like that could still happen. Like I feel like I could like book a show or do something and I would like leave court reporting for a while and like come back to it later. But so I feel like I still could like performing is still in me where like that could still potentially happen. But if it was like I was not a performer, I had no side passion like that I loved and I just had to like find something else, I would definitely 1000% be what is it called? Like
What?
a I guess a crime scene investigator. Yeah.
Ooh, I like I like that.
Either crime scene investigator or like a private detective, but I would want to be on like big things like follow I don't know, like in like the FBI and being like involved in like terrorism. Like I want to be like in the inner workings of like crazy huge high profile shit and like being a detective, like secretly going over and like living in another country and having to like follow people and see where they're going. Like I would want to do that
Oh,
really bad.
that's a good one because I want to be a I would be a homicide detective. I
Mm-hmm.
love all that. Like I know it's hard, but I love solving like mysteries. So that's funny that you say that because yeah, that is cool going to another country, having to like look completely different, kind of like
It's kind of funny
living.
that it's both related to what we do
I
still.
know.
We chose like the easier route because
Mhm.
you get to just like sit and listen to it versus like be in it.
Right,
But
right, right. That's so
mhm.
true. But I think that like a part of me does want to be in it, and that sounds really fascinating.
Mhm.
So I
Mhm.
think that'd be it for me, like a homicide detective.
Are you okay with like dead bodies and stuff?
Yeah,
Wouldn't you die?
I love all that stuff.
See, I can watch it on like Dateline and everything, but if I was like in person and I had to see like a body on the floor with
That's
blood, I
true.
think I would die.
You know what? I did have a case, and it was a civil case, and the murder of the woman. She was that was like the topic, and they admitted like her pictures of her dead body into as evidence. And mind you, in court, you don't get those exhibits. You just see them, but they're not like in your possession. So I remember coming home and like putting it all out, and I was like, "Oh my God." I told Troy, I'm like, "Look at her body." I was like, "Look at that. Her head like right here was slashed." And he's like, "Desiree, what is wrong with you?" I'm like, "I know." I know, but
Yeah,
I
I
remember just
can't.
like I loved it. But yeah, maybe you know what? That is a picture. It might be different in person, so never know.
Wow. That's insane. Yeah, I can't do that. Oops, sorry. I just hit my computer.
You're good. Okay, next
Next
question.
question is by Georgie. Wait, I don't know. Fuck. You know, I'm so bad with names.
It's okay.
By
Bye, Georgie.
by Georgie. Again, I saw it as by G or G. Why can't I just like
Watch, we
read
all said it
things?
wrong. I know
Right.
they're hard. It's hard. Go ahead.
By Georgie. Thank you for your question. The question is, if you were to start court reporting today in June 2025, would you or would you do another path? Really good question.
That's a very good question. Oh my gosh.
I think because of how much it's changed my life and knowing what I know, I think I still would choose court reporting. I would go to school today for it. If I like found it right now, decided I loved it, I would still go to school for it today. Yes.
That's a good, yeah, that's true. So I have two answers to that. If I didn't know what the job was like, or what if I didn't know what I know now, no, I wouldn't. Honestly, I'm being completely honest. I don't know if I'm losing passion for the career or I'm just at a point where I'm like I'm just fed up because people are speaking so fast. But
Hmm.
no, knowing what I know now, probably not. I don't know.
What about if you do you think are like the work you do right now currently is what makes you say that?
Maybe.
Like that you're so stressed out and so like overworked and so sick of the current jobs you do?
I'm not sick of the jobs because I do love the work I do. I really, really do. I think that it's not only is the money very, very good, but I think that I love the challenges that come with it. But I just think that people are just speaking faster. And when I entered the field, it wasn't like this. It was
Hmm.
completely different. So now that people just speak so fast, nobody has regard, like, regard for the record. I'm constantly like, please, please slow down. It's made me kind of lose it, but no, 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 because I did have those short jobs last week, and they spoke fast too. They spoke really fast, and I was like, oh my gosh, but I don't know. I don't know. You still would?
I think I would because I don't know what else. And even if I'm like, oh, a private detective or like something else I would want to do, I still feel like court reporters make more.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. No, I agree. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I think I still would because I like the pressure of all that. But you're probably right. I'm probably just, you know, but
You're just in a phase.
I'm just, and I think that's normal for us to go through. You know, I think
Hmm.
that there's gonna be times where we're over it and we don't want to do it anymore,
Oh,
and then we
totally.
find our, and then we find our passion again. So I just think
All
all the
the
time.
time. I go up and the last episode I was in, I'm still kind of like in a funk of it. I'm better this week, but
Hmm.
my God, yeah, I'm always like a roller coaster with it for sure.
That's true, and that's funny that you say that because I think that we meet so many people. Like I meet a lot of millionaires, and they're fed up with like making all that money, or they're fed up with their jobs, or I work this much, and I'm like, really, you made this much? Like, why would you be fed up with that? So I think that the outside person looking in would probably think the same about me. So maybe I should just be a little grateful.
Maybe.
Maybe I think every career has that. Not everyone's always like, oh my god, I love this so much, right?
Right. Oh, of course. Yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
No, and honestly, obviously the good outweighs the bad so
Right.
much.
So true. Okay.
Hmm.
Next question. I'm laughing because the username is A is for Anne.
Oh, my
We
is for
love you,
what did I
girl.
say it? AI is foreign or something. I
No,
forget
Ace of
how I said it.
foreign.
Oh, ace of foreign. I don't know.
Sorry,
I
girl. We
love
love
her.
you. We love you. We just it's just a little joke between Jack and I. Okay. Her question is, how often do you have technical issues? Do you troubleshoot them yourself more or call support? That's a good question. I'll answer. So I'm gonna knock on wood. I don't have, oh, yeah, right here. Knock on wood. I have never had an issue, like a technical issue where I'm like, yeah, I've never had it.
Wait,
Never.
what? What do you mean
No.
you've never had it?
I've never had it.
Nothing?
Nope.
You've never had your laptop turn off.
Nope.
You've never had your microphone stop. All of a sudden, your audio levels stop.
Nope.
You've never had your software just circle and your like your real time stops on your screen.
No, and I'll tell you why
Are
I
you
think
kidding me?
I'll tell you why I think I never have. Because I buy a new laptop every 2 years regardless of what the state of my laptop that it's in. I don't care if it's in the best condition still, oh, I can push one more year. Nope. At the 2-year mark, it's out.
I think I need to do that because I'm
Yeah.
already noticing this laptop. I've had it
Mhm.
for probably 4 years, and
Mhm.
I can already tell it's just like slowing down a little bit. It's getting a
Mhm.
little. Even
Oh,
you
I can
said it. You're
see.
like, yeah, you look a little glitchy. I think it's because the laptop. It's like everything just seems a little bit slower
Oh.
now, and I don't know why.
Okay.
So
Oh, wait, you know what? I did have an issue, but it was not my fault. The real time, the arbitrator and all the parties had real time, and it just stopped. It just stopped. I was like, oh my gosh. And it's so funny. I didn't even notice that they did. They were like, Madam Reporter, the real time stopped. And I was like, okay. And I was like, hold on. And I just could not get it to come back up. I tried restarting the iPads. I restarted my computer. I restarted everything. And I was like, what? So I went on Facebook and we have a group. There's a group, for that. And all of them were like, everybody was like panicking, posting like, oh my gosh, the real time server, is your real time down? Is your real time down? And everyone was like, yes, yes, yes. Well, it turned out it was like a nationwide shortage. I mean, like outage that Stenograph had. So they couldn't fix it. So I had to go like, and usually when you can't fix like real time, well, the parties will just say like, okay, let's just keep going without the real time. Like it's okay. No, they were like, can you go on another software? And I was like, okay. So I had to like go on another software. I had to have Veritex send me another software link because I was not going to pay for the software that they had. And I
no,
was
hell
like,
no.
no, yeah. And they have a subscription. So I was like, can you send me a link? They sent it and we were all up and running. But yeah, that did happen. And that was like stressful. But I would say having support. I have support for stenographs. I pay like I think $80 a month.
Yeah, I did
You
too.
do too? Yeah, and it's always just good I know, I know. It's good to have it in the event something happens, you can just call them. Have you had
Hmm.
any issues, Jack?
Yes.
Really? Okay, like what? Do tell. And how did you handle it?
Well, I've had everything I just said like numerous times where all of a sudden I see my audio levels completely just disappear. And so there's no audio being recorded. So I have a backup mic into my machine, but then it's such a pain in the ass because then you have to go
Mhm.
in there and you have to extract the audio file from your machine. And then I think sometimes, or then you have to assign that audio file to like the transcript. I've had it before where the real time just doesn't, it stops, and so I just write everything on my machine. But then my machine dictionary is like not updated with my software dictionary, so then it's like a different thing, and none of my preloaded briefs or
Oh,
anything are. It's like a literal nightmare, and it's happened to me probably 3 or 4 times that I've had to like do that. And every time I call them, now I'm fine. I have the damn support.
yeah,
But
you
I would
have to
call
have it.
them sometimes and they're like, oh, you don't have it anymore. Like you let it lapse or whatever. So they're like, so for a small fee of $100, we can help you right now. And I'm like, so every time I was like paying this.
Sorry, I don't
So
mean
I
to laugh.
really want to cancel it. I honestly really want to cancel it, but I know the second I do, it's gonna happen again. So I'm like, I can't.
I know. It's like it's so crazy. I feel like maybe Cinegraph has something like where like they know you don't have it and they're gonna like
Hmm.
put something on your computer where something's gonna budget up. I don't know. I'm just kidding. Guys, I'm just messing.
Just the other day, my I was in court and my machine started beeping, and I was like, "What?" And I looked down, and it was almost out of battery, which I was like, "What the hell?" Because a lot of times, like I will plug in my machine, but sometimes the outlets, like the situation is not good. Like you get like one
Oh.
outlet, and so I was like, "It'll be fine. Like this will be quick." But for some reason, like it just went too long, and my machine was dying, so I had to interrupt and be like, "Your Honor, I'm sorry. Can we just take a second so I can plug in my machine? I don't want it to die in the middle of this." And she was like, I completely forgot you were here. I was like, oh, cool. Thank you.
I don't mean to laugh, Jack, but you're like having a crisis, and she had to make that comment. It
Yeah.
should have been like, Your Honor, that was a yes or no question.
Yeah. The best part was I plugged it in. We got back on the record and she literally was like, anything else? Nothing from plaintiff, nothing from defendant. And I was like, okay. So we all stopped and watched me like plug in my machine only to be done right now. I'm like, okay, cool.
Oh my gosh, do you have an extension cord?
I do. Yeah, I do. But sometimes it's like, I can't even explain it. Sometimes the thing is like up against the wall and then, or sometimes it's like you have to plug it in the well and it goes like over, sideways, and under on a magic carpet ride. And I'm
That's
just like, I
why.
can't.
Oh,
Hmm.
magic car. That's why I can't do court. See, I'm already pissed off hearing that.
Yeah,
So,
it's not
okay,
great.
you gonna do the next question?
Okay, let's see. This question is from my boyfriend, Dylan Caberto.
Dylan. Sorry, I love him
This
so
is
much.
nice. What is inside your steno bag to set you up for success for work?
It's a good
It's a
one.
long question.
I have freaking everything. I don't know if you want to go first.
You do have everything.
Mhm.
And I have everything I need, but I don't have like the extra fluff necessarily.
Yeah, because you do hearings, everyone's just
Yeah,
trying to get out.
I just need the basics. I bring a couple backup microphones if I need. I have a ton of real time cables because for some reason I find sometimes they're finicky and they won't connect. And so I have like different kinds of real time cables. And
Oh, that's right.
I don't know why, but just I always sometimes randomly one won't work. So I'm like, I have to switch it and whatever.
Hmm.
I have a fan, a cute little fan. A court reporter today actually was like, can you send me the link to that fan? It's so cute and quiet. I love my fan. I have it out for every single thing I do because you never know when it's going to get hot.
It's true.
And then, I have my Depo book. I have a bunch of pens. I have my business cards. People are always asking, like, can I have your card? Can I have your card? So I have those and, all the cords, all the crap, the machine, obviously. And I do like to keep mints in there. And I think that's about it. What about you?
I have everything you have, and then I have 7 iPads in there. I know, I hate carrying those things.
I was going to say, how
Um,
does that even fit?
because I had my steno bag's pretty big. It's a huge steno bag. It's pretty, and I have 2 bags, so I don't carry like everything in one. And then
Mm.
I have a little like I have so many iPad cords. I think I have 7, and then I have 2 for me that I use. And then I have a little like it's a little box, and it's like a stationary box. It has like paper clips, pencils, pens, sticky notes, like everything. That way I put it out on the table in case attorneys want to use it because I can't tell you how many times they're like, do you have a stapler? Do you have this? Do you have that? And I'm like, okay, no, I'm not. I don't have that. Your office should
Mhm.
have that. But and then I have my little it's like a little medicine like box I have. It has like Tylenol, it has like Midol in case I, you know, because I got my period cramps. It has like patches too for like, you know, my back or my neck hurts too long for being on the record too long. I have like all that stuff. And then I have granola bars in there just in the event I forget a snack. I at least have that backup in there.
Mm.
And I have an extra laptop that I carry, a blanket in case it gets too cold, which a lot of other people should be carrying like some a blanket of some sort because it does get cold. Even in the summer, those conference rooms are freezing.
Yep.
So I have a little blankie and then yeah, that's really it, honestly. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
The
That's
snacks are a really good idea on a
Mhm.
long day to have like an extra granola bar or something. That's
Yeah, just
really
something to
smart.
get you through. Yeah. And oh, and then I have 2 extension cords or 3. I have one that's a tower, like a tower extension cord that I set at the end of the table and everybody uses it. Everybody uses it. And then I have one that I put in the middle of the table in the event that I have to put my iPads out and, you know, there's no they have to be plugged in, but there's no extension
Mm.
cord in the middle of the table.
Mm-hmm.
So I have that. And then I have like a speaker too in the event that there's like a remote and I want to connect it so that way like everybody can hear. So I carry a little like Bose speaker in there in my bag too. So
Oh, that's nice.
I know, and it's really heavy. I'm not gonna carry anything else. Like there's times where I'm like, oh, I should bring this. No, no, you don't need that because
Mm-hmm.
your back's gonna get blown out. So
Right.
yeah, I have an extra bag. I have my laptop and like my iPad that I carry. That's mine in a backpack, and then I have my Steno backpack or my Steno
Nice.
rolling bag. I know.
Cool.
That's
I
really
love all
it.
that.
Yeah. So, okay. Next question is from, is it Nauticus? Naticus? Sorry, it's Natiicus. Okay, I'm just gonna say that. Okay. Oh wait, hold on. I skipped. Oh wait, I skipped a question. I'm sorry. I skipped a question. This one is from. Okay, now I can't say the B Serrano. Dope Serrano. Hope. I don't know. It's something Serrano. I don't know if
Close
you're.
enough.
Okay. What makes a good slash trusting scopist in your eyes, and what do they charge you per page? Go ahead, Jack. You want me to do it? I can do it first if you want. It's up to
I'll go
you.
first.
Okay, go.
I feel like a scopist that's gonna listen to your audio and do like a full audio check and also, you know, writes you notes, gives you places to check. And yeah, I don't know. Mine is so good. I've had a few that are like, sometimes it's something so basic that like something just didn't, like, say Los Angeles didn't define, but it's clearly that's what I meant to say. And they're just like, I don't know what this word is. And I'm like, it's Los Angeles. Like, can you just put it? I'm sorry I missed one, you know? So I had one that would like just bitch at me. I mean, it was crazy. She's like, this is not my job to figure out this street address. And I was like,
What?
you know, actually, I'm kind of paying you to do exactly that.
Right, right.
So I know a lot of people are like, oh, you should never send a transcript to a Scopus that has an untranslate in it. And I definitely go through, I check, like during a job, I'll write check, check, and it puts an asterisk. And I search those spots at the end and I listen to it. I figure it out. I clean stuff up before I send it. Absolutely. I don't think you should send some like raw file with with crazy names that they'll never know. And especially if you have the caption right there and some of the names are on it, yes, help them out for sure. But absolutely, if there's one or two little things and it's like, oops, sorry, missed that, but you can probably figure out what it is or you can hear it, whatever, or just have me check it. You know, I think that is the job of a scopist. Like you're scoping a file. So it's not a proofer, you know,
Mhm,
you're not just doing that. You're like making sure the words are there.
mhm.
So yeah, I think mine, I love mine. And I think she charges me, it kind of depends. If I need it quickly, she might charge a little more. And honestly, I tell her she's so like fair and reasonable. Sometimes I'll be like, charge me more for this. This was a pain in the ass. I think she charges me like $1.25 a page, which is like not that much. I've had Scopus charge me $1.60 a page, $1.50, $1.40. But yeah, I think she's like $1.25, $1.30 a
That's not
page.
bad at all. Okay, so
How about
I'll
you?
echo what Jack said. Everything, yes, checking the audio, but also a big one for me is turning the transcript in on time. I can't tell you how many times
Oh
I've had
yeah.
scopists who are late on turn. I have it every. I tell you, I'll tell my scopist I need it by this day at this time, and I expect you to have it then. Okay.
Hmm.
I have a scopist who's always, always late, and I'm like, you know what? You're late. I'm not gonna have you on my good jobs because I can't depend on you. If you're late on regular turnaround time jobs, how are you gonna do on my expedites? And expedites, they're paying extra to have it early. They're cutting the line. So if you
Yep.
can't do just the basics, you can't be on it. I would say that one is the biggest one for me. Also, getting to know my preferences, because you know how I do things in a transcript, Jack might not do that in a transcript. No two reporters are the
Mm-hmm.
same.
Yep.
So getting to know my preferences, if I can't reach you, and also I want to be able to text you. I don't want to have to email you. I want to text you. And I know
Yes, totally.
reporters are going to say like, oh, that's kind of overstepping boundary. I don't think that is. I need to
No,
be
I
able to
love
get a
that.
hold of you. Yeah. And also communicating with you on the weekends. Just because you don't, or you know, you don't think that we should talk on the weekends. My job doesn't stop. Attorneys are always emailing me on the weekends. So I want to be able to email you on the weekends. And if I'm not trying to tell you I need you at my beck and call, but if I need you to like respond to something, like I have a question, I expect you to answer it. So just kind of being available, I think. And like I said, the biggest one is turning the transcripts in on time and listening to the audio. That's a huge one because there's times where I'm like, oh my gosh, how did you miss that? Like it was right there. You know, I
Oh
would
my
say
God.
scopists, I tell everyone this, scopists are like a partner. You go through a million before you find your one.
Absolutely. The first
Mhm.
one I had, exactly that. She would be like, I don't know what this is. Or sometimes she would
Sorry.
completely change a sentence. And I would look and I'm like, my steno is crystal clear. How the heck
Yeah.
did you hear something else and rewrite
Mhm.
the whole sentence? Like
Right.
it's crazy. So, but yeah, I totally agree with you about being able to text. My Scopus is literally pinned. You're also
Mhm.
a pin to contact in my phone.
I
Like you know
know,
how you
so
can
are
pin
you.
people?
Yeah, you're on there too. I
Mm-hmm.
love it.
So my Scopus is like
Yeah.
one of those because I always have to just be like, hey, whatever, just
Mhm.
really quick. But yeah, she's really good at communicating with me. She gets it in on time.
Mhm.
I think all that stuff is important. And a lot of them, like she gave me a preference sheet. And it was
Yeah.
so perfect and laid out. And it was like, oh my God, like I've never even thought of that, but I do have a preference on that. And you just
Mhm.
fill it in. Yeah, I want paragraph after okay, I want this, I want a semicolon here, all your preferences. I think that's super, super helpful and makes a really good scopist.
Yep,
Hmm.
I totally agree. And if they're on the job with me, like real team, meaning like as I'm writing on my machine, if they're in the software with me and we go late, like we go past 6 or something, I need you to stay on with me. I understand that things come up, but if I'm paying you triple the page rate to be on with me, I expect you to stay on the record with me. And I know that sometimes they're in the East Coast, you know, the time zone differences make a huge, you know, difference. But I'm also like, okay, well, you knew this, right? You knew I was PST. So things like that, I would say. And Jack's
Right.
like Jack said, I think my main scope, or I have four. I have one that charges me $1.25, and then I have my other two that are $1.50, and then the other one I think is like 140. Yeah, like $1.40. Yeah.
Mhm.
So they're up
Nice.
there. They're up there for sure.
I
Okay,
love
next
that.
question.
Is it my turn?
Yes. Wait. Yeah, because I asked this.
Okay. Cool. Okay, this is from Nauticus.
I had the same issue. I said the same thing. Don't worry.
Nauticus. Thank you for your question. Your question is, how do you stay organized from job folders, transcript due dates, responding to emails, etc.? Good question. I still feel like I'm not the most organized, but really like using the Depot book, and it just seems to be the easiest thing I've found to keep track of everything. But I also use an Excel spreadsheet, which I know is super old school.
No, it's not. I
But
use that too.
okay,
It's not. I think that's like a more Gen Z reporter.
okay, got it. Yeah, I feel like that's just easy for me to just write the date, the agency, the job number, possibly the case number, and how much I invoiced and stuff, and just tracking all that. That's easiest for me. So then I can just add up and I can see how much I made that month or how much I've made so far this year or whatever. So I do that. And then with every file, like every job file, start it with the date. So whatever the date is, today's 6/5/2025. Then I'll put a dash and then I'll put the job number. Then I'll put a dash. And then I'll usually put like what court I'm in. So if I'm in Mosque, which is the courthouse, Stanley Mosque, I'll put like Mosque 56, Department 56. Or, if I'm in Torrance, Torrance B or whatever.
Mhm.
And then that's pretty much it for the file. So I know exactly like where I was, what agency it's with, what date it was on. And I also make separate files for every. So like my software literally has like 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. So every year, and then you just click the year, and then it's every month, and then I go in a month, and then it's every job for the month. That's pretty much the basics of what I do. As far as emails, I favorite any transcript orders because again, in court, not everything is a transcript order. So I'll like star it. So I know I can scroll through and be like, okay, what ordered? And I'll like look. I also write it in my depot book and stuff, but just it's easier like scrolling through your phone. Like, okay, that one ordered. I have to get to that and whatever. Yeah.
That's
How
a good
about
way to
you?
do it. So for jobs, I have my planner, and whenever I take a job, put the day it's due. So I'll go if it's due June 9th, I'll go to June 9th and put due this job. If it's expedited, obviously it changes. But like I just do that, and that way when I'm then the week comes up, I look at my week, I'm like, okay, this is I see what's due that week and I plan accordingly. I think writing everything down for me really helps too, because sometimes when I think about it, it's hard when I see it written down. It's easier for me to remember. As far as keeping track of like job folders, I do the same thing Jack does, like 2021, 2022. I'll do the same exact thing. And then once like the file's done, I'll move it to like my 2025 folder. And that way it's like, okay, that's out of the way. Let's focus on the pending ones. As far as like invoices and stuff, the same thing. I have an Excel spreadsheet and it has like rough time, expedite, video, everything, and I break it down like that. And that way, if there's ever like a discrepancy with the invoice, I'm able to like see exactly where the discrepancy is at, instead of just like having a total where you're like, okay, well, where did they mess up along the way? You know what I mean? That's what I do. And as far as responding to emails, so if I'm in an arbitration, I have what is that called? Where if you email somebody and then it kind of like sends you an email automatically back, like an automatic email. So like I'm in arbitration, da, 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 I'll get back to your
Mm-hmm.
email as soon as possible. And at
Like
the end
your
of the
away
day,
message or yeah,
yeah,
whatever that's called.
that's
Yeah.
exactly what I have.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end of the day, like whenever I get off of work, and like I give myself 20 minutes to just like decompress, I'll go through my emails because it's so easy to get behind on emails. It's so easy. So you have to stay on top of them. But it's not
Mm-hmm.
like we get like a ton of emails. It's not like it's all day we're getting emails, but there are important things you have to get back to. So I would say at the end of the day, or you could check it like the next day, like in the morning, and get back to everybody and be like, hey, you know what? I'll get back to you after work or something. But I'd say before or after work, try not to check your email too much, like in the big, like during work, because you're focusing. So for sure. That's what I
Right.
do.
Love that.
Okay.
Next question.
The next question is from, okay, one more. Saral? Srraall.
Pretty.
Sorry. So, their question is, how are reporters supposed to create their price list for transcripts? Oh my God, that's the one I get asked all the time.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Um,
That's the answer.
I know, right? I would say this is why going to conventions is so important. Or if you have a mentor, ask your mentor. I always refrain from asking on those Facebook groups because those reporters, they're seasoned reporters or reporters with a lot of experience. You are a newbie. You're not going to have their experience, so you shouldn't be charging all their high rates. I've seen so many newbies have rate sheets and I'm like, "What?" And they get turned down for so much work because they're too high. And they're like, well, I'm like, "Where'd you get these rates?" They're like, "Oh, on Facebook." I'm like, "Okay, that's problem number 1." But I
Yeah.
also can sympathize with the fact that when you get on the field, you're like, "What do I charge?" So I would say maybe asking somebody, like you can post on Facebook, say, "Hey, I'm just going to start out. Can somebody help me with my rate sheet?" There are so many reporters that are willing to help.
Totally. When I first started working, I honestly just took the agency's rates. So when you start working for an
Oh yeah.
agency, a lot of times I mean, lately it's been they ask me, like, can you send over your rate sheet? And I just do it. If they want to negotiate on something, it's usually one little thing. They might be like, hey, do you mind, for a remote job, can you actually charge this instead of that? And I'll be like, okay, fine.
Mhm.
But when I was first starting, and a lot of times they might, I don't know if it's like they knew I was new, but they'll send, or you can just say, like, hey, can you send me your rate sheet? Like, you can ask the agency, can you send me your rate sheet?
Oh yeah,
And
you
then
can't do that.
you can compare. But honestly, I don't remember having a rate sheet. I think I did have one, but I was so scared because I was new and
Mhm.
not scared, but I just wanted to like do my time. I wanted to show that I was a good reporter, that I was going to take every and any kind of job you needed me to take. And was that hard and miserable? Yes, but I learned a lot and it made me a way better reporter. And
Mhm.
now I feel like I get better jobs because of it, because I showed that I show up and I can do the crap jobs for you and drive to the random city for you, whatever. So I honestly took the agency's rates for my first, for sure, full year of reporting. And then the next year, I would just say, hi, here's my updated. And now every year it's like, here's my updated rates for 2020, whatever the next year is. And I send it in December of every year. And it's nothing crazy now. It's pretty much nothing really changes too much now, but here and there a little bit tweaks.
Mhm.
But I think, yeah, honestly, I mean, see the agency's rates, ask a reporter maybe like, hey, how are these rates? Are these like good, competitive, whatever? Because a lot of them are not bad. Like I've had agencies where I'm like, this is actually really good, or like, oh my gosh, they're giving me extra for this. I didn't even have that on my rate sheet.
Right. That's a good
So
one.
it's not, people always are like, no, it's so bad. Like their rates are not good. but that hasn't been my experience. So,
That's a good one too. And I also think that Jack, you probably did. I think is this the rate sheets really only started in like 2019. Before it was reporters,
mm.
we would just get it from the agency and then go
Mm.
from there. Yeah, the rate sheets really only started in 2019. And I understand the whole billing your worth. Trust me, I completely understand. But
Mhm.
like I tell a lot of new reporters too, like you have the same rates as a 15-year reporter. They're not going to use you. They're going to use her because obviously, right?
Totally.
She's got more experience. So kind of keep that in mind too.
Yeah, you want to
Like
be
I
like an
said,
attractive candidate. You want them to go like, "Oh yeah, totally. We'll hire you," So,
yeah, and it's
mhm.
okay to negotiate too. That I think a lot of us have to remember. Agencies are in the business to make money. They are. Like I think once we realize that, it becomes easier. So they're gonna negotiate with you, and that's don't take it as take offense to it. That's just what they're gonna do. So
Yep, totally.
next question.
I think I'm out of questions. You only sent me
Okay, I sent them all to you. Yeah. Okay, I'll just ask. Don't worry.
just keep going, yeah, because I
Okay,
can't maybe some of them didn't send or something.
probably. Okay, this one's from Andrew. Yeah, it's Andrew. You okay? This is a good question. I see a lot of people talking about the stress level of the job. Can you please speak on that? Yeah. This is why it's so important to not take on more work than you can handle because
Hmm.
I see that we see that too, Jack. You probably do see it a lot. I do. I feel like sometimes I even do, and I have to learn to say no too, but
Totally.
so for me it's the people speaking fast, how hard the terminology can be, but also this is something that I still struggle to get used to, always having transcripts. I call them the transcript scaries because you could be laying in bed enjoying and you're like, fudge, I have a 260-page transcript that's out, that's just floating over my head. Jack, I don't know if you haven't probably done that in a while, but you still get the transcript scaries, right?
Yes. Yes. Not as much anymore, but yeah, during depots, I'd be like, oh my God, it's just looming over me.
Yeah, you can't even enjoy life because you're like, God, it's just there, and it's in the back of your head the entire time. Even if you go somewhere, you're like, "Oh my God, it's still there." And this, I would say, this the biggest stress is that, and obviously people speaking really fast, where you cannot control the record. No matter what you do, attorneys are fighting, witnesses are speaking very fast, and I hate when they say, "I speak fast." That's what I've been getting a lot. I'm from New York. I speak fast. Okay,
Yeah.
well, go back to New York and do that. Don't
They're
be
like,
like
I've had
here.
court reporters tell me I'm the fastest speaker they've ever had. I'm like, that
I
is not a badge of
know.
honor, honey.
I hate when they say that. I'm like, "Do you got an F?" And you know what I've been doing that's been helping? It's how I give witnesses a grade. I'm like, when they're like,
Mm.
"Oh," they're like, "I know I speak fast." I'm like, "Yeah, you have a D right now." And they're like, "Oh my God, no, I don't want a D." And I'm like, "Yeah, you have a D." And like arbitration
Not a
sometimes
grade. I love that. That's so
no,
funny.
but they take it so serious. Like I think one time this guy he had like a D, but his like they were both defendants, so it was like co-defendant. I was like, you have an A, and he's like, oh, I have an A, and he's like, yeah, and he's like, you have a D because you're speaking fast, and like they had like a competition, but he ended up like changing his tunes. That helped me a lot. Was I was like, you have a D right now, or you have a C. You would have a B if you stopped cutting off the attorney, and
Right.
yeah,
Period.
that really does help a lot. But yeah, I would say that's the biggest stress. I don't know, Jack, if you have anything else as far as like the biggest stressors for you. Oh,
Yeah, I
for
think
court, yeah.
that's my biggest stress is not knowing who's talking and when they are talking, if they're talking super fast and talking over one another. That's probably where I spiral and I'm like, or if I just like don't hear what's being said and I'm too scared to like speak up because they're just still going and I'm like, oh, I'll figure it out later. I don't know. No, I should have spoken up.
Oh my God, I hate that. Now I'm like, speak
Hmm.
up.
I
I'm like,
know.
I'm sorry, counsel. One more time. And they'll be like, I'm like, sorry. I always
Right.
say that you're either going to complain here or complain on my transcript. But
Exactly.
that's
Yeah.
why I don't know how you do it because I could not do remote stuff where I can't see who's speaking. Do you ever ask them like when you speak, please make sure you identify who's speaking?
Yeah, if there's a bunch of people, one time there was like 15 attorneys, and I was like, okay, if you decide to speak, you must say your name. And
Right.
even who you represent would be helpful too. But yeah, because sometimes people go on this stupid Court Connect or Zoom and they literally just have a phone number. I'm like, can you change the name to put your freaking name so I can see who's speaking? I just see 616-525. I'm
Oh
like,
my
okay,
God.
who's speaking?
Or
Yeah.
I'll say like Sarah's iPhone, and you're like, okay, who
Yes.
is Sarah? Like,
Yeah.
come on.
Today, it literally happened today in my hearing. There was one person on line like on LA Court Connect, and I can't remember her name. I think it was like Tracy, but that's all it said was Tracy. I'm like, okay, Tracy who? Tracy
Yeah.
Turnblad? Tracy, who are you?
Yeah.
And who are you representing? They're just a random voice named Tracy. Like, I'm never gonna find out who you are after the fact.
Right.
So I think the clerk thankfully was like, "Who is that? Who's Tracy? Like, spell your last name for everyone." So thankfully,
Or
I
when
didn't
they're
have to
like,
speak up.
when they have like a name and then you call them by that name and like, oh, that's my daughter's name. Sorry, she changed it like to the Zoom, and you're like, oh, my
I
favorite.
know.
Okay,
So
next
funny.
question is from Hey Teresa. She said, Desiree, do you speak Spanish? If so, do you feel it plays a role in your career? I do. I don't know if anybody knows. I am fluent in Spanish. That is my first language, but I don't play it.
Hey.
I don't. Yeah, I don't use it at all. No, we're not supposed to. There are times where I know the interpreter got it wrong, and I'm like,
Hmm.
that's my biggest one. That I'm like, but you cannot say anything. That's not your
Hmm.
job, and you just shut up. There's times where the witnesses talk to me in Spanish, and I'm like, oh, like I can't talk to you in Spanish. Like I can't, right? You're not allowed to. So no, I don't. It doesn't really. I don't get paid extra for it. If that's what you're
Hmm.
asking. Okay, next question. Hold on. Okay, this is a good one. Okay, this is a long one. She did send it to me in the DM, but I think this is a very good question. She said, "Hi, I'm not sure if you guys are still taking questions. One common theme I notice is that transcripts are one of the most difficult things to handle as a new reporter. What would you suggest that students do to prepare for their future of editing and submitting long transcripts? And what are some resources you use when you were figuring it all out?" Which is so freaking true because schools don't teach you that.
Yeah. I guess the only thing you can really do as a student is just make sure you're transcribing as much as you can. Even if took a
Mhm.
test that you knew you failed, or you're just like, that was awful. First of all, it's never as bad as you think it is, and that is the truth.
Mhm.
But and even then, where I'd be like, no, I swear, I literally didn't even write for half the freaking time. But then it's like you read it and you're like, oh, I only missed a sentence. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously that's not good, but it's still a learning process and a learning curve. So I think that's what you can really do is keep transcribing, because at the end of the day, you're going to take your CSR, and a 10-minute CSR is what, 12, 13 pages, and then it's going to go to 5-minute CSR now soon. So it could be 6, 7 pages, 5 pages, which is nothing. You're rarely ever going to have that short of a transcript in the working world. So you have to start getting used to, that's the biggest learning curve, is like, oh my God, I took my first deposition. It was 165 pages. To some people, like to Des, she's like, oh, that's like nothing. It's like a half day depo. But like when you're first starting out and you get that, and you've never, the most you've written for is 10, 11 pages in qualifiers and CSR, it's a big wake up call and a big learning curve. But the more you can be experienced with knowing your writing style, learning your writing style, and, really learning your theory and your dictionary and all your briefs and figuring out how you write, it's going to make that transition smoother and easier. But it will be a long learning curve for sure.
Yeah, that's a good one, Jack. And also, I think it's so simple. Take your time. Don't be
Hmm.
in a rush to edit transcripts. The more you do, the better you'll get. I think everyone's just in a hurry to get this transcript done, and they're just wanting to submit them and take the next job because you just want to make all this money. You have to take your time. Really, even if you have to go through it twice, go through it twice. There was times where I was going through transcripts 2 to 3 times with audio because I was like, oh my God, there's no way I could just submit this. I don't feel confident. If you don't feel confident, you have to look through it again. It doesn't matter if you're spending so much time. Oh my gosh, I probably made minimum wage on that job after all is said and done. Oh well, when you're new, you're learning. You're gonna get better. You're gonna see when you're editing like that too, you're seeing your writing. So now you're gonna learn from your writing. You're like, I messed up on that. Next time I write, I'm not gonna mess up. Or I have a difficult time when they start spelling stuff like quick, or how do you spell that? Da, 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 da. I have a difficult time with that. Okay, I'm going to learn to do that next time. So just take your time, take a deep breath, walk away from the computer, come back. But really getting on a schedule too with transcripts helps a lot. I would say that's the biggest one is just really, really learning your writing too. So now that's a
Agreed.
good one. Agreed. Okay, next question is from All Hands and Steno. Oh, I love that name. What agencies do you recommend for newbies? I'm smiling because I'm like, uh-oh.
I think for newbies, at least for me starting out, I feel like what do they call it? I want to say mom and pop, but okay. Oh, that is right. Or like a little boutique agency, and also like court reporter owned agencies are really good. I love Cameron and Whitney. Regal's really good, and you can just ask around too. But I think those smaller ones that have a little more connection with their reporters and check in with you,
Mhm.
I think they're the best to start with newbies, where you can like form a little more of a relationship
Mhm.
with the agency and the calendar people and all of that. So definitely, yeah, like a smaller mom and pop court reporter owned, preferably agency is, I think, the way to go.
Mhm. I get asked that question a lot, like, "Oh, what are the good agencies?" I always wanna say everyone's experiences are different. So,
Hmm.
in 2019, there was a really everyone still loves them to this day. I'm not gonna say the name, but they were rated the best agency, one of the best agencies, and I had the worst experience with them, the worst. It was really what they did was really it wasn't what they did, it was what one of their people did that worked with them. And, it's no secret, I work for Veritex, and a lot of people do not like Veritex, but I will tell you right now, I am loyal to them because they've been so great to me. So everyone's experiences are completely different. I don't recommend for newbies to start with the big box agencies, what they call the big box agencies, so the agencies that are national, and they have a lot of clients. They're really, really big firms because it can be a little hard to get a hold of somebody if you need help. I mean, oh my
Yeah,
god, the transcript, what covers, what do I do? It's hard to get a hold of somebody. Whereas at like a little mom and pop boutique, like Jack said, they're gonna hold your hand. They're gonna help
totally.
you. They're gonna be there with you, and so that'll help a lot. I think Jack
They'll,
named two.
yeah,
Those are
and
good.
they'll answer like you just said. Like I've had so many learning curve questions where I'm just like, wait, what does this mean? Like,
Mhm.
what is an ex party? What is this? Like, just
Yeah.
random things that like you don't know unless you know. I can't
Mhm.
text a big box agency that they're gonna be like, what? Are you okay?
Or
But
they're
like,
just busy. They're just really
yeah,
busy too. Yeah.
yeah. But the smaller agencies, even their calendar people, they've seen it all,
Mhm.
so they'll really help you through and walk you through, which is really nice.
I would say that, yeah, like Regal, Jackson, and then, what was the other one? Cameron Whitney, and
Hmm.
then, Chase Litigation. They're little mom and pops over
Oh
there for
yeah, I
sure,
worked with
yeah.
Chase for a little bit.
Yeah, and, unfortunately, a lot of the mom and pop shops are kinda being bought out, so it's kinda hard to find them, but they're still there. They're still
Hmm.
there. So,
Yep.
I think we have time for one more question.
One more. Let's do it. The final question.
This is from Sandy, and she said, "Hi, I was wondering if this is a competitive field to get a job, specifically in California." No. Yes and no, because
Oh, Sandy. I just love that her name is
oh my
Sandy and I'm
god,
in
I
Greece right now.
and the last question too.
I know. I love that.
No. Okay, so, like, if you wanna go to court, no. Like, Orange County's full now. LA Superior still needs a lot of people. San Diego does too, I think. But it could get to a point where court's full. In the freelance world, there is a lot of work. I don't know if there's a lot of work for newbies, but there's a lot of work. But where the work I take, yes, there is competition. There's a lot of competition, actually. I don't know, Jack, do you think there Oh, Jack, you do court. I think there's a little competition over there too.
Yeah, I mean, I've never really directly felt it, but I guess I can see how it's like there have been times where I'm emailed a job or a list of jobs. Hey, can you take any of these? And I'll be like, yeah, I'll take this job. And I swear I will respond within 30 seconds of this email or message. I'm getting emails right now, and that's if I ever look at my phone, I'm literally looking right here, like assignment, another job. Like they're literally constantly.
Mhm.
And so I'll look and I'll reply as quickly as I possibly can, and then all of a sudden the agency will email back like 5-10 minutes later, so sorry, that one is taken. And so in those instances I know that like
Mhm.
somebody did something, or someone likes someone more, or someone is preferred over me, which is totally I don't care at all, like that. I'm not offended by that. But there definitely is like, I wonder what the other person did that I didn't do, because I had to have been the first person to reply to that.
Mhm.
But it could just be, yeah, they have a stronger relationship with the calendar person or whatever it is. And I'm so understanding of that, and I understand that game. I did it when I was in depots, and now I have to do it in court too. So I think it's more, I don't know if it's competitive or if it's just, relationships having their dynamics and you just kind of figuring it out. But at the end of the day, when you're starting out in a setting like that, you just have to be the yes man and be like, yep, sure, I'll go there. Yeah, I'll go to Chatsworth. Sure, yeah, I'll go there. I'll go here, and you just have to kind of do that. And then now that I've been doing it for 8 months already, I'm able to kind of, that whole time I barely took any remote. And now lately I've been like, I'll take a remote. Like I have a remote hearing tomorrow. So, and, now they'll kind of offer me those because a lot of people want those because it's just convenient and easy. And I'm like, it is kind of nice to have one here and there. They'll start sending me those easier jobs or better jobs or whatever. The more you accommodate them and help them. So,
Yeah, I agree with
yeah.
that, Jack. I agree with that. Your
Hmm.
relationships really do matter, and you helping them out. Like I say, you take one bad job or a job that you don't want to go to, the area is terrible. Well, the next like 4 or 5 jobs could be great because you help them out. Calendar, those are your people right there. And I know there's like, oh, there's everyone's screaming shortage, 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 and there is a shortage, but to a certain extent. I always say that, to a certain extent. And where a lot of the times, just really quickly, today I was offered an 8-day arbitration, and let me tell you, it was my dream arbitration, like a dream, but I couldn't take one day. I couldn't do one day, and they gave it to somebody else because the client wanted
Ugh,
one reporter, and I literally wanted
that's
to cry. I
annoying.
was like, but you know, it happens. It's one of those things where you're like, all right, well, I'll get the next one. You know what I mean? So,
Totally. Well, what should be our final brief of the week? I think it should be stenography. What do you do for stenography? I don't know if I've ever written that word out. Have you?
I've never written that word.
I think stenographer. I've definitely written out stenographer.
I think just court reporter. They're like, court reporter's here, city to your right.
Mm-hmm.
I've never done stenographer. They don't ever say stenographer. They always say court reporter.
It's weird though. Literally today, another thing, today, the attorney said stenographer. She goes, "Are you the stenographer?"
Oh, I love when they say that.
I know. I was like, "Oh my God,
I love
yes,
when they
I
say.
am."
You're like,
I
oh,
think for
dear.
stenography, I would do S.
Oh, that's a good one. Or I would do STAEF. And
Yeah,
then
for
stenography.
stenography, and then wait.
Wait,
That's
what?
stenography.
No, stenography. Yeah.
Stenographer.
Add the
Stenography would
R.
be S
Add
T
the R.
R A.
No, STAE. Okay, you did STA. Okay, I would do stenography STAEF, and then stenographer
Yes,
STAER,
STAER
and then
F.
stenography.
Or no, you can't do F. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Wait, no, but now we're getting into an issue with stare versus stare.
Oh, mine doesn't do that. I do STAEUR for stare, and then like staring at someone, I just flag it ST.
Oh my God, this is so crazy. I have to do STAER for like I'm staring at you,
Oh, then why don't you just do
right? And then
STAEFR?
climb the stair is STAIR.
Oh my gosh,
So
mine is STAEUR.
I think I would throw the initial R in it somehow. STRAER, Strayer.
That's a good one.
That's really
We're struggling
far-fetched,
over
but
here.
it's a struggle bus. But isn't court reporting a struggle bus? Yes, it is. Well, with that, I think that wraps up season 1 of the Steno Pod. Thank you all so much for tuning in and going along on this crazy journey with us. It's been so much fun. And let us know if you're down for a season 2 of the Steno Pod and what you'd like to hear come next, because we'd love to hear your feedback.
Thank you so much for all your support and listening. And Jack and I had so much fun doing this. I literally would look forward to it every week. And just thank you. There's not enough words. I'm really upset about it. Honestly, I'm like going to get emotional, but I cannot wait for season 2.
We'll be back. I think.
Goodbye for now.
It's goodbye for now. We love you all so much. Good luck on your court reporting journeys, whether you're just starting it, whether you're in school, or whether you're a working court reporter. Best of luck to you. Keep pushing, keep going, keep grinding. It only gets better, I promise. And hard work always pays off.
Forever.
Forever. Love you guys.
Love y'all.
Bye bye.